Hi guys, welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. I did this, or I thought I started this, but I guess I did something wrong. So, welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. It is March 25th. We're in the middle of March Madness. All of the North Carolina teams are moving ahead. North Carolina State moved ahead. My team, Duke, moved ahead. And Carolina moved ahead. We do wish them all the best, but Duke made it into the Sweet 16, so go Duke. All right, so it's the end or closing the end of March. And speaking of closing, I'm closing the office at the end of March. Into the first week of April is looking like, but come check us out. We have tons of travel things that are there. I really don't want to throw away travel brochures that could be cut out for preschool classes or school classes, art teachers. Reach out to me. Anyway, this week, Putin is proclaiming that the concert hall disaster is the worst terrorist attack in Moscow's history. And not to lighten that, because 137 lives are precious. There are 80 more people who are still missing, and they are precious. I wish that the U.S. could say that that is the worst terrorist attack that has happened to us. They're threatening, Russia is threatening cyber attacks. And if you didn't see last week, Russia, Iran, and China all took part in military practices together. So that to me is kind of scary. Anyway, I will get on with the travel news. There was a fire this weekend, Saturday at about 2:45 in the afternoon off the coast of the Bahamas. The Carnival Freedom, the ship who caught fire on its funnel 2 years ago. Guests on board say that they were in a terrible thunderstorm and there was a large clap of lightning. The passenger who I heard his recount said that it was the largest clap of lightning he had ever heard. And then there was a fire on board. It was in the funnel stack, the exhaust stack, the whale's tail, if you wish, then you know what I'm talking about, of the Carnival Freedom. Nobody's hurt. The investigators are now looking into all the details to see, if it was in fact lightning. It's kind of scary because there are lightning rods all over the ship. Next time you're on a ship, or even if you're not on the ship, take notice. Look for those lightning rods. They're everywhere, and it's specifically to counteract things just like what happened. Anyway, that fire was part of a regiment that Carnival brought out. It brought out new rules and fire, the warnings that we need to know of. If you've not been on your first cruise yet, or if you have, listen to what those sounds of the horn mean. Know what those little codes mean when they come over your loudspeakers. If you don't know, then deal with a great travel agent who's willing to teach you before you go. Okay, then, we're in the middle of spring break. We had a ton of people on spring break from church yesterday, and they're really cracking down. Two means of thought. Reconfirm everything that you've booked. I do it as your travel agent if I've booked it, but if I didn't book it for you, call days before, call the day before. Make sure that your reservations are intact. Flights, call a few days before to make sure your flight's on time, or look online. If you have your record locator, your reservation number, it's usually 6 characters, can be combined numbers and numeric, or pick up the phone and call them. For sure, do your check-in as soon as possible within 24 hours of your flight's departure. If you find a problem, get on the phone right then. I had a schedule change for travelers that we booked back in September, and now they would like for us to leave early in the morning and arrive at 11 p.m. into the Caribbean. We're not going to do that. They sent several offers, and the computer will automatically choose one of these offers for you if you don't make your request known. I didn't want any of those offers. I found a better flight. A little thing a travel agent has an advantage over the public. I found a flight leaving about the same time, arriving 10 minutes earlier, and instead of a connection in one city, connecting in another city. Should have been a no-brainer, but the computers who work these schedule changes don't know that. And they are only going to reroute you through the same city that you originally ticketed at. Okay, let's go next. The people who are cruising, if you're cruising in the next month, beware. There are dogs on board. I've said this before, but there were 3 stories this week about increased security. So I'm going to say it again. There are dogs on board. There are dogs at the airport. There are 3 kinds of dogs. There are dogs that are sniffing for agricultural products, like people who bring food on flights, people who bring food when they're not supposed to. Usually it uncovers something that's a delicacy that you weren't supposed to have there to begin with. The next are the dogs who are sniffing for drugs. And we've been warned. They're in airports. They are going to be on cruise ships. They're going to be in cruise terminals. You're going to be screened and screened again. When you come back off of a excursion, you're going to go through extra screening. And there will be dogs present. So on the chance that you're tempted to bring something that you felt perfectly confident in indulging in while you were in islands, don't bring it on the ship. There are federal penalties. Federal. Did you? I can't say that enough. Federal penalties if you are busted. And because they've made such a big to-do of it, even Carnival put out statements last week to all cruise travelers, very specifically stating they will not be messed with cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it. It's a federal issue and could be treated as such. Makes me scared. I'm telling my customers so that they won't be surprised and they're fully aware before they travel. Okay. Then, did you hear the story on the news this week? There's a large group from Virginia. I think it's an AME church. And they had planned for more than a year to do a cruise to the Holy Land. Well, the sailing was for October. And just days before their sailing, they got the notice that due to the unrest, the Holy Land was not going to be part of their trip. I saw 3 people interviewed on the news today from that group, and boy, they are demanding, they are loud, we expect a full refund for everything that we gave the cruise line. We are not going to take a future cruise credit, and yeah. I'm here to tell you, if you are a traveler who books your own travel, the terms and conditions that you agree to, it says the cruise line has the right under any means, whether the captain's decision to avert any port necessary. And There's no compensation required. You're signing that when you give a cruise deposit. If you didn't know this, please be warned. There are cruise insurance policies, travel insurance policies, and I'm going to tell you, this happened to us 2 years in a row. We had a cruise booked to the Holy Land. It's been one of my dreams. I will do it one day. But I believe this was 2016. And we're getting on the flight. We're getting on in Raleigh. And as we're getting on board, a customer came by and said, "Did you get a text from Celebrity Cruise Line?" I said, "I don't know." She said, you need to read it." Then another customer came by. "We just got the text. We're not going to Israel." Yikes. Well, we had, you know how I travel. Every port that we were in, we had private excursions set up for us so that we had our own little group and we went where we wanted to and where we felt like was most important, not somebody else. Anyway, I still hadn't gotten the text. So the next 5 people in line were all part of our group. And they were all flashing their phones at me. What had happened was the day before, there were 4 local people. I started to say Israelis, but that you can't apply that anymore because it could be Palestinian or Israelis. Anyway, there were 4 people killed at the Western Wall, and Celebrity made the decision they were not traveling there. They replaced 3 days in Israel with Ephesus, Crete, somewhere else. Anyway, it was great. It kind of made it like the footsteps of Paul, if you watched or if you read the Bible or know the stories of Paul's missionary teachings. Anyway, we had customers, one family who was not happy. I explained, the ship cannot take you where they're going to be responsible. They're responsible for $1 billion ship and billions of dollars of passengers' lives that were going to get on that ship. Yes, we were disappointed. We were getting on the flight, so there was no backing out. Could somebody have backed out? Yes, I did check for this one family so that by the time we arrived in Charlotte for our international flight, I was able to share that, yes, if you really want to cancel, the cruise line will give you a full refund, and I will work on your refund for your airline tickets. But they decided to go, and we had a fabulous time. Okay, anyway, back to this story. This is a group of travelers demanding. Number one, the days of demanding are gone. Demanding, being loud, obnoxious, it doesn't get you anywhere anymore. Because now we've been trained to just turn you off or cancel you from the flight or cancel you from the cruise or, delete you from our database or whatever we feel is necessary. We don't have to put up with it anymore. At any rate, the group, their whole purpose was the Holy Land, as was ours. But due to the political unrest, Celebrity Cruise Line, like every other cruise line, canceled their sailings, modified their sailings, offered something different. And they did offer these travelers a full refund or a future cruise credit. And they don't want... Wait, that's not true. They did not offer a full refund. I take that back. They offered a partial refund or a full amount in a future cruise credit. And that's not what they want. I just want you to be aware of some of the things, some of the little things that are in the travel world that we kind of take for granted, or you would assume that it would be this way when it's not. And this one's going to get ugly, it looks like. Okay, I want to tell you a good thing. The Margaritaville at Sea ship, the second one, the one I told you about last week that is being refitted or upfitted to be a Margaritaville brand. It's in Belfast, Ireland right now, right where the Titanic was built. And it is going to set sail this summer. What is exciting is that it looks like it's going to be a much nicer ship, and it's going to do sailings beyond just the Bahamas. There are sailings that are going to include Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Ocho Rios, Belize, 6 and 7 night sailings. They will open up this summer for sailings September of 25, which is when their longer sailings are going to take place. And then one of the most exciting things that I have to tell you this week, and I'm telling you last, so you'll go do this. If you haven't seen, there's a lot of solar activity, a lot of sun flares, solar flares are taking place. It could be because, well, there's lots of reasons. When you do what I'm doing, I read, I listen, and I watch a ton of stuff before I tell you about it. Anyway, there are a lot of reasons, but my point is watch the sky. If you can get to an elevated place, or if you happen to be in the mountains, that's a great place, Trey Fargus and Maya. Go watch our skies, because the Aurora lights, the northern lights, were seen this weekend as far south as Ohio. And I dropped a post on Facebook, if you watch me on Facebook or follow me on Facebook, from the NOAA Aurora forecast. And they're saying that throughout this week, we could see it, especially through Wednesday. So we have 2 more nights. And you know what you're going to see is in the horizon or in the base of the sky, be looking for a yellow, a bright yellow maybe, a green, a haze. And you'll see a haze first, and then there could be just a color that comes up within it. It's wild. I plan on seeing the Northern Lights again. Anyway, that's just about all that I have this week. We are having a Easter egg hunt at Baptist Temple Church and School this Saturday. I hope that you can make it. We're filling the eggs tonight, or I'm filling eggs tonight, with cute little Easter bunny erasers. Now, naturally, I can't give them to the very littlest kids, so the bigger kids are going to have fun too. What else? I laid 2 or 3 things out, but I took it all outside with me before I realized it was not going to work outside. The problem is my internet out there doesn't work, even though I bought a booster antenna. So if anybody's got any bright ideas, I would love to take you like on the back deck as the sun starts to set later and later. I could do my show from out there. All right, guys. Ciao. Hit me up if I can help you with anything. And, oh, one more thing. I do have space for one more cabin on July 2nd to the 13th for the Royal Princess sailing to Alaska, 11-day cruise tour. And I may still be open for a roommate if somebody really, really wants to go. Holler at me. Thank you. Ciao.